Hello everyone, we have a new game to play today. We're going to try out Forager. So let's get that started up so that we can see the intro. I have not played this at all yet. This is completely new. I tested it just briefly to make sure that it actually runs and catches on the stream properly. And so far everything seems pretty much fine. As you can see, this game is by Humble Bundle and Hopfrog. So I have high hopes for this. Now, I've already set the options up the way that I want them. We may want to adjust the audio volume depending on just how things end up looking. Hello, Melody SRV. Welcome to the stream. And we'll start a new game. Okay, so escape to open the menu. Build industrial furnace. Is that what you want me to know? Sewing station, forge. Okay, what are we trying to do? Uni. Delete stuff. We've got a little bag. Buy land, I guess. That's just options. Okay, gear. Our backpack is very basic. Now I've spent some time. Let's get started by building a furnace. Okay. I'm gonna guess left click to break stuff. Yay, I broke stuff with left click, and I need, what, 10 of these for a furnace? Is that right? So, okay. So far this seems like a nice little pleasant thingy. These iron ore. Okay, so we're getting iron ore from those weird rocks with spots. I see Scarlet Swordfish's channel is hosting me. Thank you very much, Swordfish. Let's see, now we can build our first furnace, and we'll put that just, I guess, right here in the middle. Hello, Scarlet. Welcome to our stream of Forager. I've actually been really looking forward to trying this game out. It looks really lovely. Wood, stone, iron ingots, gold ingots from iron, gold ore, and coal. Okay, so it looks like we need to get some wood from these trees. I've heard a bit about this game, and it seems really pleasant, just very chill. It describes itself as an idle game that you don't want to stop playing, which is a gutsy thing to call itself. Yeah, it's brand new. It just came out through the Humble Bundle site just about, I think, 10 or 12 days ago now. And to be completely candid, I am playing this mostly because I'm hoping that it'll bring some new people into the stream. I should eat. How do I do that? I am hungry. Use item with left click. Got some oranges out of the trees, which was a little weird, but that's okay. So it looks like you have to have the cursor over the bottom of whatever you're interacting with. Getting a little bit of coal. Get some more stone just to have it, I guess. I guess we can get bricks that way, which I'm assuming we make something else out of. Skill points. How does that work? Skills. Okay. I'm learning this as I go. Foraging, industry, economy, or magic? Well, I do like my industry. Steel, glass, gain experience when building stuff. Cotton spawns more often, allows you to find wheat and beets. Instantly gain 40 coins. And this allows you to find fairies. So I think... let's try foraging. Let's see what this does. Let's see what this gets us. Okay, so now we can get to gathering, which is gain 4 inventory slots, 25% more XP from plants and crops. That sounds good. And trees drop 50% more wood. Okay. Alright, let's see if we can make something else. Can we make... oh, we can. We can make iron now. We have enough for 1 ingot. And then here's another patch of iron over here that's spawned. Yeah, I mean, this is very idle game-ish. But so far not in a really bad way. Like, it so far is actually rewarding me for my progress instead of the usual idle game nonsense. Okay, so we can get wheat now, that's good. Yeah, it looks a lot like your typical idle game, but instead of a gameplay loop that incentivizes playing more, this is incentivizing playing more by, like, actually rewarding your progress. Do I get... can I... okay, so I can make bricks. I can't make gold yet. Let's make a bunch of that. Alright, so what can we do over here? We can make a forge now with 4 iron ingots and 4 bricks. We can make a sewing station with 10 wood, 2 fiber, and 3 brick, but I don't know how to get fiber. Farming, bridges, we can make those pretty easily, and fish traps with wood and berries, which I assume gets us more food? Can't make anything economic or magical yet. I'm not going to worry about bridges until I have somewhere to bridge to. Fish traps, though. I'm gonna put one of these down and see if this does any good at all. Meanwhile, we need 4 iron ingots in total. What are you, friend? Coal is valuable, so I'm gonna dig that up. That is how I get coal, right? Yeah, okay. It's possible I don't know what I'm doing. Call me crazy. But I might be new to this. I've seen about half an hour worth of gameplay by a relative beginner, much like myself. But more famous, you know, so... and that is the entirety of my experience with this. I saw him building fish traps. They seemed to give him a lot of fish, but I'm not really sure if that, like, what they actually did, because it wasn't particularly clear. What is this? This is a beet. Okay, so I can get beets now. More berries. I am exhausted. Oh, you're telling me, buddy. Let's see, I'm out of orange. No, I'm not out of orange. 4 oranges. Can I eat this? Yes, I can eat this. And I guess I'll just polish that off. Yeah, okay, so I still need more iron, and it hasn't spawned any more iron, so I'm not sure what I should be doing to get that to happen. I guess... I'll just like keep the forge going so that it's doing something. I don't really know what purpose that serves, but I assume there is one. This, I think, is gold ore. Yeah, gold ore, so we can get gold now. What are you? You are... fiber. Oh! We needed fiber for something. What was I trying to make with fiber? Build, industrial... sewing station. Okay, okay, so we need the fiber for a sewing station. This has caught something. Fish. Okay, so just fish. And more fiber. Okay, so we can make a sewing station now. You know what? If I can rebind a little bit of my controls. I don't think I can. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go back to the menu and see if I can rebind my controls real quick. Key remapping. Menu. I want menu on. I think I want menu on Q actually. So it's going to be a lot easier. No, not a new menu. New menu. I can talk. That's wrong. That's entirely wrong. Just delete that because I'm an idiot and made a new save for no reason. Okay. Ah, more iron. That's exactly what we need. Ah. Okay, wait. So we need 1 coal. And then we can... now we can make the last 2 iron that we needed. Okay, okay, that should get us where we need to be. What is this? I can't see past this tree. It's just like grass or something, I guess? Alright. So now we can finally make this forge thingo. We can also make a sewing station. I don't really know what a sewing station is for, but we're gonna make it anyway. I'm trying to have this kind of out of the way a little. Like that's a crappy place for it. I hope this doesn't break all of the materials. Okay. I put it down and then I immediately realized that I'd stuck it directly in front of my fish trap, which is really not where I wanted it. Oh, that's wheat! Okay, that's wheat that's growing and that's beets that are growing. So this guy right here is a beet. Or it will be eventually, I guess. Level 3! Okay, so we need to put down our sewing station up here, and that way I can still actually reach this fishing trap. Okay, so let's get our new skill. Do we want magic? Berries. Do we want economy? Do we want industry? Steel, glass, experience when building structures. Okay, so I think we're going to leave industry off for now. We might do economy just to build, just get onto a new island. Or it's either that or gathering, because this gives us more experience for plants and crops, and we're doing that a little bit more now. Yeah, we'll do economy for right now, I think. What is this? Coinage. Forges create 4 extra coins every time. Storage unlocks vaults. Storage seems useful, actually. But I think I might go for coinage to increase that gain. I should buy lands and expand. I should expand and buy land. Alright, so what does this do? I can make thread and fiber. I can make a small backpack from thread and flowers. I can make a wallet. Gold ingots and thread. Okay. So I'm going to start working on this. Hey look, a fish. Fish. And I don't have any more fiber, so I can't do that. Coins. How do we make coins? Gold ingots for... what, 1? Oh man. Keys. Consumable, iron ingot, gold ingot, slimy pickaxe. Whom? How peculiar. Iron ingots, jelly, wood. Okay, bottle, we need glass, and we don't have the ability to make glass just yet. So, I think what we're going to work on is just coins. And we've got the economy perk, or upgrade, or whatever it's called. So what we're going to do is actually just go ahead and buy a new piece of land straight away. 60, 50, 80, and then this one we can afford right away. Okay. Alright, sure. There's a rainbow. Red. Orange. Yellow. Eat some food real quick. Yellow. green, blue, and there's a purple guy right there. Okay, what does that do? Okay, there's a giant treasure chest thing. Let's grab this iron. I don't know what that is. That might turn into something useful later. How do I get into this? I need a key. Okay. Well, I'm going to make a couple of bridges because this right here is going to drive me nuts if I have to keep walking across that. All weird. Okay, that's better. Gold ore. Yeah, we want that, because it looks like gold is used for a lot of the upgrade type stuff. Wait, seaweed. I wonder what I use that for. Okay, so I need to make a key. That means that I need 4 iron, 2 gold. Okay. So I need to make more coal, it looks like, or get more coal. Which I suppose it's fine since there's coal right here. Fiber is always good. I can make backpacks out of that, I think. There's some kind of ore back here. I can't see what it is because there's a tree in the way. It was gold. Okay. Okay, I guess I better collect more of these trees up. I wonder if there's a way to, like, auto-harvest stuff later. Because right now, things harvest very slowly. That's what I need for the key. Let's grab this up for the rest of it. I like this game so far, but I'm wondering how manual everything has to be. Because one of the things that I had a hard time with getting into Stardew Valley was that the game was very, very manual labor heavy. There isn't really a way to automate almost anything, and certainly not automate anything at all without extremely high cost. So that was something about that I really didn't like. I would have preferred to have more of like a busy work reducing, like anti-frustration feature kind of thing. And it just kind of, like, it wasn't bad, but it sort of lacked that in particular. So I had a hard time sticking with it as much as I wanted to. So I'm hoping that this will let me do something like that eventually. Whether that's in the form of improving on the number of things that I can have placed down making stuff for me, or ideally if I can have, you know, if I can have like a machine that feeds something into another machine, that would be really fantastic. You know, this is probably a bad keybind because I can't actually use that, can I? Skills, feats, accessories, seals, artifacts, tools, weapons, lands, treasure. There's kind of a lot to this, actually. These are like achievements. Okay, probably don't want to worry about that. Ah! Critter. Jelly. Okay. I guess there are critters, and that's how you get jelly. Alright. Not so bad, I guess. Alright, so let's go and try and make this key. Do we have enough stuff for the key? Key. Craft one. Yay, we do. Alright, and over here, let's have this smelting something. I don't know what. We can make 1 gold ingot, so we'll have it do that. Ah! Jumped at me. Okay, we've got a key. Let's open up the chest. A top hat. Coins are worth 50% more. I don't know what that means, but I do feel very dapper. So I guess I need that to move to the next area, or I guess, does that increase my buying power? Yeah, I don't truthfully quite get what that does. I do like that it sort of bounces off of my head each time that I swing. My inventory is full. Oh no, whatever shall I do? Okay, more fiber, that'll translate to more thread. I wonder what these little spots are. Do they mean anything? Okay. Ooh, slime. Jelly. This music is sort of comical, I like it. So I can get a small backpack. I will get a small backpack, you know what? I will do that. We'll also try crafting some gold coins. 8 gold coins. Okay, so... yeah, not sure I understand how that works, but okay. Let's see, gold ingots. Craft the maximum of those, and then we can turn those into coins, which we can then turn into... Hey, inventory slots. We can turn those coins into more land, which we can then turn into more of everything, from what I understand. Let's see, do we have... Oh, we leveled up at some point and I didn't pay attention. Bolts. Yeah, this is going to be good, because we want this as soon as possible, basically. Okay, now what does this unlock? Trade, which unlocks markets. Banking, which unlocks banks. Okay. Sewing unlocks leather and increases the speed of sewing stations. Industry is something we still are going to need to come back to pretty soon, I imagine. Well, that's neat. They have like a little halo around them so you can see where the enemies are. Or maybe not even enemies, just creatures. Because, yeah, these guys do the same thing, but I think those are just like a firefly kind of deal. Just little hoverbug. I don't like that monsters are spawning now. That doesn't bode well for the future. Let's see. Yeah, 52. Okay, so now we can actually buy more land. But which one? Can we only buy this one? Alright, well, I guess we'll do that then. Another treasure chest. Okay, now that's cool. I'm a little bit salty that it's a treasure chest because we need another key to open it, and that means that all our materials have to go towards pretty much just that. Would have been nice if, you know, maybe it had given us something that we could like do something with. Sand. Oh, I got sand in a fish trap. That's confusing. That needs leather, so I can't do that until we have leather. This needs thread and gold. Okay, we need to get more ores right now. I think that's going to be kind of our priority, is just picking up more ores. Okay, so we got gold. And these are, of course, giving us some amount of experience, bonus experience from our farming thing, I think. Unless I completely don't understand how that works, or alternately if I forgot that I didn't actually get something that I thought I did, which is also entirely possible. Let's see. We want to put down some more fish traps over here, huh? Here and here and here. And that's probably used up most of my materials. I think that's probably used up all my wood. That's probably what I just did. 20. No. Oh, it used up my berries. That's what ran out. Okay, hopefully having more of those will increase production overall, though. It looks like it has, like each swing of the tool is correlated to losing a bit of energy. No, each successful use of the tool is correlated to the loss of energy. Okay. Good to know. Alright, so let's see. First things first, we need to make enough of a bridge to reach over there, and we need to get a key that will open it. So we need to collect wood for that. This needs... And my resource production is not great right now. I feel like this music is making fun of me. I'm not sure why I feel that way, but I do. Alright, come over here, check for ores. There's some coal. Oh my gosh, let me through, please. I am exhausted. What happens if you run out of energy entirely? Let's find out what I've caught. Seaweed. Fish. More seaweed. Eat everything. Slime. Kill the slime. Okay. Some cotton. Or whatever. More berries, that's good, but not what I need. Really what I need is more iron and gold. That's pretty much... I just need it to give me those. Oh! Little dude jumps. That's good to know. I've got plenty of coal, so I shouldn't be messing with that too much. Let's go for this, which will give us the gold that we need. Maybe, hopefully. Because gold ingots actually take quite a bit of gold. And it looks like this might be iron. Yeah. Okay, cool. We got some iron down here as well. Alright. Make up the iron that we've got. Ah, good. So on the one hand, I'm kind of feeling a little bit Animal Crossing-ish, where there's like stuff everywhere, and it's getting very messy very fast, and I don't want to keep cleaning it up. But on the other hand, it is neat that resources are renewable, and you don't have to worry about like finding a new patch of it or like buying land specifically to get a resource or whatever. So that aspect of it is convenient. Let's see, we have 5 iron. It's okay, yeah, you like it? I think I like it. I'm pretty sure I like it. I guess we'll see how it does on anti-frustration stuff over time. Because I definitely like the idea of it. I think we'll just have to see whether I continue to enjoy playing it. Oh, there's a chicken. I touched the chicken and it gave me an egg. I should eat. I'm gonna eat an egg. Chicken! Chicken with egg! Chicken gave me the egg. Oh, I must have leveled up and forgotten. Again. Okay, so what do we want to do here? We want gathering, because I am dumb and forgot to get this before. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Yep. Farming unlocks shovel, windmills, and bread. Inscription, which unlocks inscription tables. Fishing. Traps catch things 50% faster and unlocks cooked fish. Okay, so I don't do too much with fish just yet, so I'll leave that for now. But what we do need is to build us a bridge. Ah! Oh, he was waiting. He was ready for me. The chicken jumped in front of my pickaxe, and now it is injured. These catch less fish than I would have imagined. Okay, so that's just these fireflies. Yes, sad chicken. I will try to not sad the chicken anymore. Let me gather up these resources and then we'll go for the chest, because I don't really know what the chests do, and I want to give that the gravitas that it deserves instead of having it surrounded by stuff that I just want to hit. I can't reach over there, so I actually might have to unlock the thing first. Alright. Nerdy glasses. Experience gained by increased by 20%. That is much better. That is much more like what I want. Get those skills up faster. Okay. Hello chicken. Hello egg. Hello flower. I can't walk past this tree. Ridiculous. I wonder if there's a way to increase your hunger meter so that you don't get hungry as often, or if you need to like just get better foods that, or if there's like a saturation effect Minecraft style. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. This is gonna be interesting. Yeah, so it looks like it does at least affect some stuff that's of lower gain. Let's see. So we'll craft those up and then go for these gold ingots that we can get after this. My energy is low. I'll eat an egg and some seaweed. Tamagoyaki. Fish. Yeah, I think I just had a meal of sushi. I'm not entirely sure. We just leveled up, so we have another skill point to spend. Don't want that just yet. Let's do industry. So I want steel. And that has unlocked carpentry, which gives us torches and reduces the cost of wood for structures. That's good. Alright. Alright. I'm liking these glasses. These are very helpful. Sand is coming out of there. We've got a chicken. We've got an egg. There's some more of this, which we can put in here. Yeah, I mean, stuff seems to be progressing at a reasonable rate. I don't know if it's fast or not, but it's reasonable at least. I don't feel like it's slow. I do feel like I want some way of like not having to sprint across the island every time I want to do anything. But there isn't really a way to centralize since resource spawns appear to be randomized. How to get around this problem? There's quite an attack range on this thing, actually. Steel. Okay, so iron, gold, and coal. And we can also make glass with sand. We have enough for one piece of glass. That is really expensive. Maybe we want to start investing in more fish traps then, I guess? Okay, so we got our one piece of glass. Got 5 ingots of gold on the way. I've got a ruby. What does that do? what do I need for this? This seems good. I want upgrades. This costs 2 glass. Holy crap! For a bottle. Okay. So we'll go for this first then. I don't have any iron ore. Crap. Yeah, I need 3 more ingots. That's kind of a lot. So we'll break this. That was a long jump, Mr. Slime. Can you imagine how terrible this game would be with just the simple change of having your tools get damaged over time? Like, that would make... poop. There's poop, and the music is making fun of me for it. Sorry, what about Minecraft? What did I say about Minecraft? I've literally already forgotten. Tools breaking over time. Yeah, no, I think it's okay in Minecraft just because the core gameplay and resource loop is so different. And because there's like different tiers of tools that you can get really easily, you know, like there isn't really any penalty to losing a particular tool except if you've done enchantments, which is actually one of the things that I dislike about the enchantment system, is that it does increase the cost of losing your tools, because it's harder to reproduce those enchantments easily. But like other than that, it's just so much more... You can get out of here. It's so much more acceptable to lose tools there than here, where like where every material you have to like go and collect and then come back and collect and come back. So it is. That's correct. It's so much more. Get out of here. But just no, the core gameplay loop of Minecraft is very, very different. Things are persistent, so specific resources are more or less valuable, and tools, like tool-suitable resources, are really easy to get. Yes, the chicken does glow in the dark. Why do you suppose that is? Do you think it is a laser chicken? Poked out an egg. Let's see, iron. We still need 1 more iron, so we'll grab that. Get that going. Iridescent chicken. Yeah, that's about the size of it. Fish. Other fish. What is that thing? I can't tell what that is. These trees are seriously in the way. Swallowed a firefly. Oh, it's a cow! Maybe that's where the poop is coming from. Let's see. Eat those. That. I haven't worked out how to make bread yet. I picked up more poop. Yes, I did. That is unsaid. Yeah. Well, look, I'm living in the Stone Age here. I'm just learning how to make like metal. I'm advancing up the tech tree, but like for me that's almost literally a tree because yeah, that's a bad joke waiting to happen. And I don't even know what the joke is yet. Alright. Flowers. No, not the chicken. I don't want to kill it, I want its eggs. Coal. Swordfish and I met playing Avara a very long time ago. Or actually, not even that. We met talking about? Please tell me that's true. Because that would be hilarious. Come on, I want that pick. I think I can actually get that pick and have been able to for a while, but yeah. Slimy pick. Alright. Carpentry. Torches. I don't need torches. Shovel, windmills, bread. Better trees. Leather, sewing stations. I don't need leather. And I don't know what any of this does. Did I announce that I was streaming? Yes, I did. Let me... Sorry, let me just, like, fling my cursor into space here. Yeah, no, the stream notification went live a while ago. Should just be on Twitter. On the tweeters. And as a matter of fact, 25 seconds ago, Jesse just retweeted it, and I appreciate that. What is an inscription table? What the frick? I'm gonna do farming because I want passive resource generation, and I don't understand what any of the rest of this crap is. Novice level scrolls. Oh no! Sugar, mayonnaise, cheese, cookbots. Farms, animals, sprinklers. Oh. We're headed that way with this, are we? So hopefully that increases the gathering speed. That's what I'm really hoping for. Because right now that's the big bottleneck. So I'm gathering stuff quickly, or quickly, not quickly, too slowly. 6 blows to break that now. Ooh. I should eat. Well, I'll have an orange, and an egg, and a turnip, and a piece of fish. What a balanced diet I have. We can make some more thread, we can make shovel, iron ingot and wood, a bone pickaxe. What do you do? Turnip fish. Well, I mean, it's not entirely outside the realm of possibility. I can readily imagine, like, turnip that fish. I can readily imagine, for example, like putting a piece of turnip in sushi. Like just a thin slice of it. Let's make some coins. Let's take half of our gold for that, because I don't want to use it all. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's something that would be particularly good, but like it's the kind of thing I can really easily... Flour. How do I make flour? What the crap? I can really easily imagine, like, you know, centuries ago, having fewer resources available and just having like a few root vegetables, making a, you know, like making a piece of sushi with like a bit of ground up turnip in it or something, just for flavor. Granted, a flavor that really sucks, but you know, flavor nonetheless. Not saying it's something that I would necessarily ask for. Okay, so we've been injured. I don't know how to heal. Maybe fairies do that? Possibly? Question mark? John Panette had a great bit about turnips. I don't know who that is, but do tell me. I'm curious. Let's get that glass going. I want a bottle. Oh! Jeez, I thought I killed the chicken, but then the slime exploded in my face instead. Oh no! I didn't mean it! It's basically about a bottle of turnip vodka. It's basically about how horrible turnips are and how his sister brought one for Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, I mean, that's not something I would necessarily do in that person's position. Thanksgiving is not the place for that. It was an accident. It ran in front of my pick. I killed a chicken. What have I done? I've murdered a chicken. Okay, gear, skills. Alright, I can get more skills. Let's do magic, because if fairies let me heal, then I will want that. That's no excuse. Brilliant, gain 20% more XP. Holy crap, yes? The chicken was innocent, it was a mistake. It wasn't an execution. It wasn't the chicken's fault, but it also wasn't mine. It was nobody's fault. What is this? Bottle, flower, okay. Shovel? Can I make iron? Do I have... I'm exhausted. Orange, seaweed, and fish. Balanced diet. Still don't know how to make that, but let's make as much iron as I can. Chicken slaughter. Chicken side. I haven't worked out what the cows give me, so I'm trying to be especially careful with that. Let's see. Is there a difference between these rocks? Because there's a couple of different sprites for them. Topazes. Does that do any good? Chicken community labor. 3 years of chicken community service. I mean, I feel like I can cope with that. What was that sound? Oh, I caught something in the thing. Okay. Can I make anything useful here? I can make a shovel. Let's find out what a shovel does. There's like a freaking forest over here, and I can't get to any of the resources that I care about because there's so much wood in the way. Please, please tell me there's a way to speed up the effect of your main tool, because it would be better if that wasn't just a thing that I have to live with forever. Gold ore, iron ore, there's a turnip over there. I wonder what the cooking tree is like. I don't really think I'm going to enjoy doing that very much, because I usually don't in games like this, but I might. That's what I get for killing a chicken. Yeah, well, you know what? This is going to basically be a chicken preserve, unless I find out that you need to have meat. In which case it will probably stop being a chicken preserve very suddenly. Let's build a bridge. Ah! Dig up dirt to plant crops or find items? Oh, you don't say. You can find sand that way. Superb. Alright. So what we're going to do is clear this off and then turn it into a bit of farmland. Find out what, if anything, that is good for. Immediately takes everything. Yeah, well, look, when all you have a shovel, when all you have is a shovel, everything sort of looks like a plot of dirt to be dug up. Farming, windmill. I need 30 bricks. I will make those bricks. Ah! There's so many of them! I can't fight with that. Okay. There are more chickens now, which... Oh wow, I'm actually gonna run out of coal before I run out of the material for it. Okay. Grass jelly. Yup. Okay, see the chickens like run up next to resource objects. And I don't know how to keep them from running in front of my weapon, my tool. Ah! Get out of here with this. Stupid slimes everywhere. Need to chicken-proof it. Yeah, well, I don't know how. I can't build, like, fences or anything as far as I can tell. There's no way to keep them contained. Economic buildings, magical buildings... No, I don't have access to any new buildings, so that's not how I do it. Oh, these revert over time. Okay. That's not what I want. No! Stop! What do I do? How do I keep that from happening? I mean, I assume I just have to, like, plant something there. How do I actually plant things? It hasn't told me how to plant things! This is first priority. We need to keep leveling up faster, and that will give us a permanent way to do that. Combat. Swords, dodge chance increased by 15%. This unlocks cauldrons. I don't want to do that right now. Let's see. Oh, a fairy. Okay. Ah, there we go. Yeah, it works like Zelda fairies. So you touch the fairy, and then you get healed. I do want agriculture, I just don't really know... So, I mean, you might have noticed it's getting a little bit overrun over here, and, like, I've barely... right, I need bricks. Need more coal. It was in the tech tree. Yeah, no, it was. I just don't really... Like, there's so much else going on already that I'm trying to do all this first, before I worry about that. Let's get this working on this. This needs to be making some coal, like just crap tons of it. And you know what we might want to do is actually put down a second forge, or not a forge, a second furnace. I can't build it there because there's a tree in the way. Fancy that. I can't build it there because there's a me in the way. Fancy that. Let's freaking try that again. Alright. Tiny alien. Yeah, seriously. We do have 74 gold, so we can expand a little bit if we want to. Coins, rather, not gold. In fact, let's do that. 80, 280, 350, 800. Holy crap. 320, 60, 270, 420. So I feel like there's definitely a certain pace that you're supposed to take with this. Alright, let's get a bridge over here and figure out what this stuff does. What is this? Welcome to the museum. Our collections are rather incomplete at the moment. Feel free to help me fill the bundles. You will get a reward for each one completed, and a super special reward if you complete them all. Okay, well... We've got wheat. We've got fiber. We've got eggs. 50 bottles of milk? Are you kidding me? Excuse freaking me. Okay, foraging. We've done some of that. We have berries. I feel like I'm gonna run out of food and then it's gonna be a big problem. Oh no, this requires fiber as well. Crap. Trapping? Ah, that's stuff with bottles. Cooking. That's stuff with cooking. Alchemy. What the frick? Archaeology? Building. Okay, so we have this, but we need that right now, so we're not going to do that. let's see. So we don't need too many of these to fill this up. So that's good. We need these more than we need to donate them right now. We have crap loads of rocks. So let's just dump that in real quick. And coal is also very easy to come by, so that's no problem. Yeah, that's just the bricks. Okay. Can I leave? Yes, I can leave. Okay. So this has one of those features. Let's grab up some berries before I die of hunger. Is there anything else up here? There is a chicken up here. I will have your egg. And murder the slime that's harassing you. This is my chicken community service. My service to the chicken community. Need more coal. I asked for a crap load of coal, and there it is. Okay, that's all the coal we got. Day 1 of 1100, yep. I think it's actually more than that, but that's fine. Egg. Egg. I feel like this is less farming and more like sprinting around after animals that don't want to hold still. Let's see. Water shovel. What does this do, and why will you not tell me what it does before I try and make it? That needs bones, which we haven't found yet. We can't make glass because we don't have enough sand. Sprinting after animals. I mean, that's... yeah, that's fair. So, I did get, like, quite a bit of experience for interacting with a fairy last time. And since they respawn, I think I'm going to keep doing that whenever I have the opportunity. I'm just going to be like, hi, 14 experience. Because that's pretty much just free XP. Like, I don't have to do anything for it or anything. We've got a freaking forest growing in over here, and I don't know what to do with that. But there is some iron, and I care about that, so... Gear, skills, skill points 1. Alchemy, combat, storage. Storage seems useful. Well, I don't know, is it? Structures are cheaper and you get torches, that's leather. Banks, markets, I don't know what any of that does. Trees drop 50% more wood, traps catch things 50% faster, and you can cook fish. No idea what that's for. Agriculture. Farms yield 25% more resources, animals yield 25% more resources, and unlock sprinklers. See, I want this, but I don't know how to make farms yet. So I don't think that's a good purchase just at this point, because I don't have the thing that it is for. Always take the skills that you don't know what it means. I mean... Look, I'm taking storage, optics, lighthouses, doubles light radius in the dark. That seems useful, but not necessary, so we'll keep that for later. However, in the meantime, that does mean that now I can... Well, let's kill this guy first. I protected the chicken. The chicken is fine. We need more coal. We might be able to make that windmill now. Either that or we only have to build one more. Okay, let's see. Let's get the farming windmill. No. Ah, crap. Wood, bricks. Okay, so we still need the one more brick. Let's just make tons of brick because we need that. And then we will knock down a lot of trees. I'm really trying to keep this island on the left clean, because it's small enough that that might even be attainable. And it's 6 hits for each of these. Which gives us a little bit of food as well, which is good because we don't really have as much of that as we had before. And speaking of which... Excuse me. Okay, now we can build the thing. Grabbed up the poop with my bare hands, again, because I am an unsanitary heathen. It's great. You should try it. You shouldn't try it. Don't try it. Wash your hands, kids. Okay, so we put down a windmill. No, we can't put down a windmill because we still don't have enough wood. Alright. Let's break more stuff then. Hello, free experience. I spend a lot of time gathering resources, not a lot of time using them. Not sure how to feel about that as a gameplay loop. I like the idea of it, but it's still a little bit just like, come on, give me a second here. Alright, 42 wood. Oh, for goodness sake. That's another 3 years of chicken community service, isn't it? Alright, Windmill Island. Oh, you can build it on top of the bridge. That's weird. Alright, okay. Okay! Oh, freaking K. Alright, citrus produces a tree sapling. Do we want saplings? Cotton seeds make more fiber, I guess? Beet seeds, wheat seeds, pepper seeds, pumpkin seeds, animal feed. Oh! That's what all that crap is for. Flour. Alright, so we need wheat seeds first. That's going to be absolutely necessary for getting our farming up and running. So I don't know if you guys necessarily want to do this, but if you did, this would be super cool. I definitely don't want to like demand it because I feel bad even asking. But if we could like maybe promote the stream on your social media feeds respectively, that would be super cool. I am really hoping that this particular one takes off a little bit and allows me to build a bit more of an audience than what I've had up to this point. If it doesn't, that's okay, but if it doesn't, then that does mean that I'm probably going to need to stop doing selfish streams, mostly. Just because I have some upcoming constraints on my time that are going to pretty much make this not be a thing anymore. So yeah, if you guys could let anybody who might be interested know, that would be super helpful. Well, it wasn't on purpose! Where have you been? Okay, yeah, that's fair. Right. I need to pick a spot to start actually doing some farm. Where? Oh, there it is. It's not on purpose! What else am I supposed to tell you? So I can make 4 animal feed, I can make some cotton seeds, beet seeds. Let's go with cotton for now. get that up and running. I think you can sell materials that you don't need. Get out of the way, chicken! And here it comes sprinting up to get in the way again. What is this all about? Got some stone I've picked up. I haven't picked it up. My inventory is full, so I cannot pick it up. But there is a new object here. Oh, the seeds are what's in the way. Raw meat! Crap. Alright, well, I'm gonna... What should I sell? Whoa! 90. Well, eggs are... Oh, they're just good food. They're not really useful to sell. All of this is really low value. I'll sell this because I hope not to use it. Yeah, I am going to donate those 2 stones that I picked up. Those 2. Yeah, so we need 2 more each of the topazes and rubies, and 3 more of whatever the frick this is. So I don't know that I want to think about the fact that poop is one of the ingredients in animal feed. I mean, it makes sense from like a realism perspective, but it's also sort of nasty, and I don't want to think about it. I mean, like, obviously I'll still be picking it up with my bare hands, left, right, and center, but that doesn't mean I'll be thinking about it while I do. Alright, let's start farming, because we can do that now, I think. If I find a way to water crops, they will grow much faster. I assume that that is what the... Poop is just a fact of life. Think about something more pleasant when you pick up poo. You know, I mean, it's a wonderful sentiment, but it's just... It's horrible is all. Well, I have just exploded into level 12, so let's start putting... Oh, no! No! No, that's bad! No! Let's do wood cutting. Let's see what that unlocks for us. Mining. Rob struck 40% more minerals. That is very useful, actually. So we'll do that. And this gives us, in turn, masonry, which unlocks braziers. Structures cost 25% less stone and less brick. Prospecting. Gems are more frequent. Rare items when digging increases. That's good. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? A woodcut should cut. Wow. My face does not work. Bows and arrows, cooked meat. Okay, see, now I'm starting to want this. How do I... Doesn't this... Well, that's weird. Piggy is eating my crops. You mean Piggy the cow over there? Alright, let's see what else I can make over here. Let's make more wheat seeds for now. Looks very much like a pig. Yeah, I mean, it does. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's meant to be a cow on account of there's a thing for getting there's a thing in here specifically for getting milk. Beet seeds. Make some gold. Let's not break my trap for no reason. Some of that, get some of this. Oh, there's a veritable treasure trove of random crap over here. Okay, so those are done. I am weirdly, like, not running out of food lately. Is that normal? I feel like that's not normal. I feel like something should have happened where I run out of hunger. Like my hunger bar depletes faster or something. Are you supposed to be able to do anything with this rainbow thing? Because it's just kind of over there. Why is Piggy sprinting around? Oh, that is a very quick way to get fiber, actually. I think. Alright, let's come over here. We have beet seeds now. And those, I guess, are almost done. They look almost done. And I'm struggling to even, like, tend to my machines quickly enough. With a water shovel, because that sounds like it has something to do with water, and the thing wants me to do something with water, I guess. I don't know. Gold ingots. Let's max that out. Go away. Let's make half of that fiber. We do have to keep looping some of this back into farming. Let's sell kind of a lot of this, maybe, because we had way too much. Dig area increased, and digging irrigates the dirt. Okay, yeah, alright. So that seems to be the start of what we wanted to do with that. I don't think that's where we want to finish with it. I'm sure that there's more that we can do, like with sprinklers and whatever, but this is a good start on that. Okay. We can make a steel. Let's try that and see what we get out of it. The butt. Luna just went out on the balcony, stood in the rain, and then came in and shook off. Yeah, that sounds like her. It's a very Luna-ish thing to do, isn't it? So we're out of most of the materials there, but we can make some glass. We need to make flour. How do we make flour? We need to make flour at the thing. We can make flour this way. But I kind of want to turn it all into wheat seeds instead. Okay, so here's some more ore. Oh good, some more wheat. Just sitting over there. And I think our crops also just caught up with us, which is good. My inventory is full! Yeah, complain, complain. Actually, on that note, I think... Yeah, I got bolts. I need 3 steel for that. When do you craft the rocket launcher? I don't know, dude. I just started this tonight. It's not a video game if there's no rocket launcher. Well, what would you call this if it's not a video game, then? Wheat seeds, more wheat. Wheat seeds, wheat seeds. Oh, actually, wait, I wanna... How do I re-dig this? How do I irrigate this? Can I not? That sort of sucks. I guess I'll have to let those plots expire and then redig them once they're done. So I can't really use what I've just gotten. Make more steel. No, I have to make more iron, and I need more iron ore to do that. So, where is some iron ore? There is some up here. This got out of hand as soon as I walked away. Holy crap. Let's see, what else can I eat to get rid of all of this? There is a lot going on in this game all of a sudden. Okay, so level 13. Slime gave me a lovely poop gift. Video lame. Yeah. Burn. I don't even... Whoops. Crap. Go back to skills. Go back to skills. I want skills to pay the bills. Cook pots, sugar, mayo, cheese. What does any of this do? Markets. Wait a minute. I need that, don't I? Textiles, boots and gloves. Crafted items sell for 25% more coins. Oh. Oh. Oh, man. I literally just threw away like 150 gold. Dang it. Oh, that was so stupid. Why did I do that? I'm a little bit unhappy about that. Crap. Why did I do that to myself? Nomad's shovel. Can't make that yet because I haven't even seen bones. Steel, sand, bottled beetle. How do I get a beetle? I can make another bottle. So I guess I'll do that. Let's see, yeah, that'll make me, what, 12 seeds, I think. Can I make this now? No, I need more coal, so we'll make some coal. Alright, so plenty to do here. I mean, this game does deliver on its premise pretty nicely, actually. go. Yeah, I'm starting to run into inventory management issues pretty seriously. Lucky thing that I'm only 2 steel away from having a vault. One steel away from having a vault. Put a little bit of gold for myself there. Okay, so now we can do this like quick irrigation thing. And get some of these seeds planted. And while we're at it, let's also make more of these seeds. Wheat seeds. Start there, because that's what I want mostly. And we need more gold and more iron. We cannot make enough of either one of those. We are getting pretty close to being able to afford another island, though. Well, I think we can already afford an island, but we're getting close to being able to afford one that I want. One of the big, expensive ones. I don't actually care if it's one of those, but I do want to be able to afford a market. That is an important thing to me. Let's see. No, I don't want to do that. I've got plenty of thread right now. Seaweed. Alright, come over here. Wheat seeds. 4 sets of wheat seeds. Because I am a crazy person. And also, farm plots make a weird noise. Alright, let's see if anything... Aye! Let's see if anything useful has spawned over here. Ah, so that actually refuels some hunger. Refills some hunger. Refuels is a really weird way to say that. Sorry, chicken, I didn't mean to hit you. Don't sentence me to community service again. Not seeing any iron ore up here, but I do need to get up to the top to find out whether it spawned up there. Lots of slimes. Always with the slimes. So many of them. Getting more coal is useful, so I am gonna bother with that along with the flower and crop type stuff up here. Just since those can go towards either seeds or the museum displays. Assuming I can ever break into the museum again. Berries are also good, both for that and for fish traps, which I do probably want more of eventually. There's a lot of gold, which is definitely good. Still not the iron that I was hoping for, but that's okay. Why is this chicken just like scooting closer and closer to what I'm hammering away at? Makes me nervous. My energy is low. I dare you to hit me! Oh man, that's really the shape of it right now. What do I even... Oh my gosh, why so much gold and so little of literally anything else? Poop makes animal food. That's the only use for it that I've found so far, but I suspect there are others. Yeah, I know. Well, I assume that it's like fertilizer to grow whatever. I don't like that weird zoom in effect when it does that. My inventory is full. Well, what were you trying to pick up? Oh, the seeds. I can literally only afford one. Let's see, I need to come up here and dump off some of this stuff. What can I get rid of? I need those. That's done, because I don't need that quite badly enough. Oh, there's one of those that I can toss in there. Farming. Need the wheat, need the beets. I don't think I need this, but I'm going to keep at least some of it anyway. Foraging. I can give oranges, I can give fiber, give more flour. That's almost done. Berries are complete, that's good. Can't do anything with those yet. Can't do anything with that yet. Oh my gosh, 50 steel. That's not even that bad, and I'm already just like, I can't! Okay. What is this? Poop. Well, I just got excited over literally a piece of poop. This game has done something to my brain already. Ah! So I'm gonna wait for the first two of these to finish, and then I'll do one more steel ingot, and then I will do... Yeah, I do have enough coins to get more islands. But I'm actually worrying about the stuff that I've got right in front of me first. So for example, let's get some farming up and running here properly. Do it. Don't worry, I will. Just give me a minute. I gotta plant all of this. Okay. So we have all of that crap done. Can't do any more of that. Can't do any of that because I'm out of coal. Make some of that. But what I can do is construct either a mark. Oh. No! Okay, so I need leather in order to do the market. But I can make a vault, finally. A vault now. 6 slots. Oh no! I don't know what to do with those, so I'm going to shove them over there for now. I do need the stones still. It literally only has 6 slots after all that crap. That's okay. That's actually about what I expected, or should have realized, should have thought to expect. Crap tons. Absolutely crap tons of it. Which we can turn into 16 wheat seeds at a time, I guess? That's a little weird. I would have thought it would give me more. I can make another glass, which means I can make a bottle. And then I can make some coal, run myself out of wood, and then we can get a skill. And then we can buy an island, and then we can find out what's on the new island and panic all over again. It's great! Farms yield 25% more resources. Animals yield 25%. No, I don't need that. Artistry. No. Commerce. I want commerce. I really want commerce, actually. Masonry. No. Carpentry. No. Sewing. I do have to have sewing before I can get the market. So that's a prerequisite. And the reason that I need sewing before I worry about commerce is that this doesn't do anything until you have at least one market. Or at least it doesn't look like it does. Furnaces work 25% faster, and forges work 25% faster. That's useful. I'm not sure why sewing taught me how to do that, but cool. I'm not going to question it. Buy land. Okay, so I can buy this one, I can buy this one, or I can buy this one or this one. I'm leaning towards this just because it's close to what I've already got, and oh, there's a guy down here already now. Let's build some bridges. I don't have any wood. Let's cut down some trees. Crap. It's very dark. Yes, I need to get optics and torches, and then it will be less dark, and maybe lighthouses, which I think is part of optics, but I don't have it yet. I am hungry. Well, I will eat, then. What is this? I don't... Okay. Hello, person. You are just the person I was waiting for. The natural resources are being exploited by little jerks with pickaxes. I need you to bring me 2 torch bugs so I can keep them safe from harm. Okay. I can do that. Just have to wait until nighttime. Meanwhile, let me just exploit your natural resources real quick. As more trees just puff into existence. Oh boy. He ated you. Who did? The slime? Yeah, that's everything I can mine on that island. No. Oh, he atted me. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. That's true. I mean, I can't imagine that's a mistake, given the context of this game. And the fact that he seems pre-scripted. Subtweeted? Oh, yeah, I understand, yes. I definitely Twitter so good. For so long. I have Twittered for all of my life. By which I mean, like, 2 weeks. Okay. I do like that buildings and creatures heal over time. That's useful. Oh. I'm learning things about how to internet today. I feel like that must be used for something, you know? Oh good, you can walk between those buildings. Oh, you can walk between all the buildings, I didn't realize. It just looks small enough that I didn't think you should be able to, so I didn't try. I mean, I can't really make a ton of anything right now. Ah, well, have a lovely evening, and hope to see you tomorrow. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Leather hides. Oh no. Slime pap. What does slime pap mean? It sounds like something I don't want to do. I think I have to kill this. Yeah, he dropped hides. Oh. What is this object? I can't figure this out. I need your coal. Give me it. And your gold. Give me that too. But now that it's nighttime, yeah, I don't have any intention to kill the chickens. Bottled torch bug. Don't mind if I do. And I'll actually grab 3 of them, because one of them goes to the museum. Thank you for the critters. You may keep these magic scrolls as a reward. Help the druid. Druid scroll. I'm afraid the natural resource exploitation is still growing rampant. Could you bring me some tree saplings so that I can make sure the forest is safe? 30 tree saplings! Oh boy. Well, that is gonna take a hot minute. Oh, iron. And an emerald. Good. We needed those. I killed a piggy and exploded with leveling. So just making levels explode, yeah. Oh my gosh, how am I supposed to get up here? One of those. This is considered a material. That's weird, but okay. Consumable druid scroll. I don't know what that does or means. This that I'm doing right now, this honestly isn't even resource exploitation. This is just, I would like to get in this doorway, please. Well, based solely on the icon and the name, I'm gonna guess that it's probably something with, like helping trees and plants growing faster. I don't really know if that's the case. 1 out of 5. Oh no! So these I need to keep for the tree saplings, because that's where you get those from. Those are done. Ouch your ears, what? Was something loud? Was it... Did I make noise, or what happened there? I apologize, I genuinely didn't realize that I did that. Ooh. Sorry, I thought I got my audio fixed so that it wouldn't do that anymore. Food, food, food. Crap loads of fish. I am exhausted, he says, at full energy. Yeah, I was hoping that it would be 100% of the time, and clearly it isn't, so. 6 sets of tree saplings, which I don't know are going to be, they're going to be one at a time, or if it's going to be all of them at once. I need to find beetles so that I can bottle the beetles. 4. Okay, so 4 times... How do I stop this if I don't want it to do all of the things? Well, no, that's okay. It's making 24 of them, so I should only need to get another 2 sets of oranges. Oranges. I'm not sure whether I want to use the Druid Scroll yet. But I will break through here and then use one of them, because then if it like magically summons a bunch of plants or whatever, then I will actually be able to tell, which I can't down there because everything is full of crap. So I'm getting commerce next, but I don't want to actually do that until I've collected up enough leather to make the marketplace, because otherwise there's literally no point to having it. Which is a silly situation to be in, I'm sure, but I should eat. I am exhausted. Beet, egg. Fish. You upgrade your pick and shovel. Yeah, so I've got the slimy pickaxe and the water shovel. Oh, crap. Well, I mean, it did what I thought it was going to do, so I guess that's good design. Now I need to get out of here. Dug my way in, I guess I better dug my way back out. Crap. I was really hoping it was going to have a different effect. Because that is just an absolute mess. Well, I am an idiot. Build a fish trap here, and we'll add some more up there, and I can't even freaking see down there, so I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see. Make some steel. We'll make. Wait, I can't do that. I need to make more glass. Then I can make another bottle. And over here, meanwhile, I've got 24 of those. So I need to make 2 more, and that leaves me with 1 citrus fruit left. I can make another bottle now. I can craft 2 leather, but I need 5. So it looks like I'm going to be at that for a little bit. I need another piggy. Are there any more Pegasus around? And for that matter, any more, wait, do I really not have any slime on me right now? How that happened? Huh. Let's see, I will eat the beet and have some fish. And what's it complaining about? I haven't used a skill point. Okay. So for that I need commerce. Eat the beet on the Druid's box. The Druid's Island box I'm in. I am not going to do that because I actually want to have this if I need it. So I'm going to put it in a box and forget that it ever existed until inevitably at some point that comes back to bite me. I do, however, have all of what I needed for the Druid's next quest. So I'm going to clear off this island again. Not clear my thing off of it, please. Please and thank. This now can make pretty much just material. Or bricks, rather. I am an angler. I got a reward. I don't know what that reward is. It looked like a fish. But it also looked like a person, maybe. I don't know. It might be a fishman. Let's see what I can do at this point. There's still no Pegasus. Where are all the Pegasus? Pegasi. Oh, there he is. Clear up here, boxed in. Only one hide? Hey, come on now. That ain't right. Why does it have to be leather anyway? Why can't I make it out of fabric? I can make all the fabric in the world. I've got the ability to farm that now. More topaz, that's good. There are no more Pegasus up here. So there's just no way to get more leather, is there? Get eggs, sort of, slowly. Well... Oh, new item. Amethyst. Let's go in and hand those in. 2 of those, 1 of those. Oh. Okay. Alright, let's go... Oh, hey, wait, what? How did this get in here? It doesn't go there. That doesn't go there. What the heck? Put that there. That goes there, but... Stick 2 of those there, because I don't know what to do with them otherwise. Holy crap, there is a lot of crap down here. Thank you so much. You have saved the forest from those guys with pickaxes. You do see the pickaxe I'm holding, right? Ba-doom. Ah, treasure chests. Do I get both of them? Yes, I got both of them. That's a lot of random crap. Hello, friend. I have a final quest for you. It involves finding a rare dinosaur egg. If I can get this egg, I will be able to raise and protect the creature. Dino friends are the best friends. My inventory is full. That was apparently me saying that, not him. I'll be honest, I was hoping he just wanted an egg. Because that would have been the best. Let's see, is there anything else I can consume right now? Yes. 1 of each gem in your inventory. Okay. Done, I guess. Just paint spots on a regular egg. You know, that honestly might work with this guy. You'll never know. Yeah, I mean, he does seem a little bit on the clueless side. Call me crazy, but I feel like he might not be all that observant. Okay. Let's get these resources on our way back up the hill, I guess, is what we'll call this. Just casually exploit this guy's little island. pick his flowers right out of his garden. Oh, I can go in his house. Does this do anything? Is this useful? Ah! Bunny ears, sprout, fedora, top hat. I'll keep the nerdy glasses. Oh, that's what that does. I mean, that's pretty accurate to reality. You roll with the fish skin. Yeah, yeah, sure. I'll be a fishman. This music is super weird. Is this the only thing you can do in here? That's... I guess that's fine. Sure. I went into your house, and I turned into a fish. A slime just jumped out of your treehouse. That's weird. I am hungry, he says, as food is just exploding out of the trap for him. Oh, come on, just give me... Can I... Please? I just need, like, 3 pieces of leather. That's all I need, is like, 3 more pieces. I wonder if I'll get more of that if I create another land. Or if I buy another land, or whatever the verbiage is to describe having it appear. Oh, I don't want to do this right now. Go wait. 320, 270, 420, 280, 350. Maybe I can get 2 at once if they're cheap enough. 280, 270. Okay, so we've got a fairy fountain and some kind of obelisk or something. What does this do? Foraging obelisk. Gain bonus experience from gathering herbs and crops. Only 1 obelisk can be active at a time. Cool. Alright. Yep, that's working. That is already working. So this is actually probably a good place to start farming as well down here. Can fish roll? I mean... No? I mean, there's a dodge button, but it doesn't do anything, so I'm gonna go with no? Question mark? Like a giant asterisk next to it, because I have no idea how this works. Wait, what is that in the corner? I don't know what that means. What's that mean? What am I doing? What's happening? Ah! What am I supposed to do with all this crap? There's no room in my inventory for anything. Although I did somehow end up with just a lot of ore. More coins. There's not really any point to not be making coins at any given time, right? Oh, then you can grab anywhere that your cursor can reach. That's interesting. So you don't have to actually like walk over to stuff in order to grab whatever its output is. Okay. I still have a fairly desperate need for more Pegasus. And also, I still don't know what that thing in the corner means. I mean, like, I can only guess that, like, the obelisk has some kind of counter? Countdown timer or something? Let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It seems likely. Ah, there is a piggy. 2. Oh boy. Sweet child, let my friends, my fairies, rest your weary body. I need to ask you for a very small donation. I will reward you with the power of my fairies. May light shine on your quest. What donation? Also, what is that? It made farting noises, and now it's dead. And now there's meat laying around, and I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. But that's okay, because I have more hide, and that means that I can make more leather. And that means that I only need a couple more hide before I can continue expanding and doing what I'm trying to do here. My inventory is full. Well, I'll just eat some seaweed and that'll be fine. Yes, I am a fishman. That is correct. Chuck Fishman. I haven't watched that show in a long time. It's from early edition. There's a guy named Chuck Fishman. Why, what? Oh, why am I a fisherman? Because someone wanted me to be a fisherman. I don't know how I got this. It's some kind of bonus that I earned, but I don't remember what I did to get it. It just is the thing that I have now. I may not have to kill piggies anymore. Oh no. That was a chicken sound. I thought it was a berry bush, but then it made a chicken sound, and now I have meat. Oh, nuclear throne. Okay. That would explain it. Guess what game I don't play? I can make 2 whole steel. Oh! Just and a glass. Yay! Well, yeah, I'm a fish now. Okay, have flour. Make as many wheat seeds as I've got wheat for. That should be fine. There is chicken up here. It's a lot of fish. Yeah, it is a lot of fish. Not sure why I have so many fish. I would say so much fish, but so many seems like more appropriate to this. Oh wow, critters. Ah, okay, that's the last bit that I needed. I can make my market now, and that means that I should get this, finally. Where's... Oh, I've already got commerce. Supply. Markets sell more items. Jewelry unlocks amulets and improves gem sell prices, which I've got a lot of gems right now, so I'm going to do that before I sell any of them. Physics. Power plants. Oh no. Oh, what is happening? Freaking power plants now? Wait a minute. Wait just a darn second. Basic amulet. Iron ingot, ruby, emerald. Huh. Well, let's see, what is it? It's an economic building, right? Market. Yeah. Yeah! Yeah, I can have a market now. And I'm gonna put it down here next to the guy who doesn't want me to exploit resources, because I feel like being a bad neighbor. I am hungry. Have 100 jelly in your inventory. Reward, guy with a slime hat. I'll probably be him. Alright. You cut that out now. Okay. Alright. So let's put up our economic building. Can't put it there because I am there. Economic, market, bump. And let's also pick up yet another skill. Boots and gloves, textiles. I feel like that's going to require more leather. But at the same time, that's also where we might get some bonuses to like handle speed for stuff. Royal steel, royal clothing. Oh, I'm not touching that. Okay. So I can buy cinder bloom, flour, and oh! Ooh, iron ore. Well, that's cool. Alright, so now I should be able to auto-sell things from my inventory, which means that I can grab those up. I shouldn't just sell those straight away, should I? I should get amulets with them, right? Basic gloves. Thread, iron ingot, bone. I still haven't found any bone, so I can get basic boots at least. With a little bit of iron. Which now I can make quite a bit of. Because the market is cool. I'm gonna kill you because I need more leather. My inventory is full. Why is that in there? How do I... amulet, emerald. Oh crap, I sold the ingredient for this. Let's see, what should I be selling here? I want to sell this crap because I'm not going to use it currently, but it's also really valuable, I think. Sell some meat, sell some of this because I deliberately don't want to use those. What am I meant to do with this? Steel, sand, and a bunch of bottle beetle. Bunch of bottle beetle! Iron ingots, bricks, and bones. I still haven't seen any bones, so let's just make a crap load of coins and get some more land. I do need to go and murder some wildlife real quick. But because it isn't chickens, the audience that is currently watching the stream doesn't mind. And 2 of these, and that'll make me preposterously wealthy. But since they don't have anything else that I need, I'm just gonna have to deal. Make the rest of that. Craft 500 furnace items. I can have a weird hat now, if I want it. Can I just trade the... Crap. I think I need another vault. I need more bricks. Okay. So as soon as one of these finishes, we'll make more bricks. inventory is full. So this is really weird that you can't get items out of the vault if you don't have inventory space. Because, like, it seems like you'd want to be able to switch things, right? The game runs when you're in inventories. Not cool. See, because I want to sell this, but I can't sell this because I don't have room in my inventory for it. Let's buy a couple plots of land. Time to donate stuff. Yeah, actually, that's probably a good idea. 350, 960, 420, 900. So we'll do that, and this. And those are getting expensive now. And that is looking at me. I have a tone of coin. I have a free slot. I don't have a free slot. Crap. Alright, fine. I have involuntarily picked up a bunch of items. Alright, let's go get all the way back up here. Farming. No, I don't have very much of the farming stuff right now. Don't have enough of those. Okay, and that's completed, so if it's not used for crafting, I can sell it. I don't have those. Oranges, I've only got 7 and I want... Well, no, yeah, let's donate the oranges. I definitely don't have any of that, or that, or that. What this? I have 1 piece of glass. I do have a lot of fiber. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'll get rid of... I'll fill out 1 of these. But I'll keep the rest of it for string, because I need string for leather, and I need leather for the clothes. So I am going to actually be busy on that for a while. Cyclops fins. Yeah, that's a weird way to say that. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Oh crap, I'm out of wood. Crap. See, I guess I gotta knock some trees down. Top left. You know? That's a good question. I'm not sure. Oh... Okay, yeah, I don't know what that is. Let me go and break my way up to it and find out. Because that seems like an interesting question. Oh, that's yelling at me. I'll murder it. Good plan. Perfect plan. Excellent. That worked out perfectly. I murdered a thing, and now it is dead. What do I do with these? E. Oh. Oh no. H. P. What is that? I? Ichti? What is an ichti? I need a key. What do I not have? Gold. Touch what? I already touched the only thing that was interesting to touch. Well, other than the Cyclopean weirdo. But I haven't got over there yet. Touch the chest. Well, I can't until I have a key, so I need to make more, what, iron? No, I need more gold, and then I can make a key, and then I can touch the chest and find out what weird accessory it gives me. So 6 beats to fill up my energy, it looks like. And I need more of these to make bridges, and you want money. More fairies. Okay. Huh. Okay, so it looks like the NPCs then also have additional things that they'll ask you for, including coins. I need more coal, because of course I do. And it's daytime, so there's weird music again. Alright. Wow, it has gotten quite foresty and weird down here. I guess that's what I get for letting this guy do his own thing. Kill 100 enemies. I can now have a dumb face. Wow. That's a lot of stuff in those rocks. There's a weird squeak up there. I don't know what that was, but I'll check in a second. Oh, it must have restocked. Topaz. That's good for selling, I think. Alright, and then there's more gold here. Grab that up. This as well. Purple pigment, meat, flour. I mean, I want the purple pigment, but I'm kind of nervous that it's going to not be useful. Do I have food? Yes. Beet, beet, beet. Fish, fish. Beet, 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 fish, fish. Excuse me, slime buddy. Okay, got the key. Making the gold, making the iron. Make the leather. So far, for the most part, it seems like I only really need one of each building, because that's pretty much, that's keeping up with me pretty well. More coal, that's always good. Get more egg, also always good. Alright, so we've got the key. I can make shoes. Babby's first pair of shoes. Let's get the chest. Ah, lantern. Provides better visibility in the dark. I think I can only have one thing. Ooh! So wait, are the upgrades cumulative? That would be nice. I thought I could only equip one at a time. But it looks like I might be able to equip all of them at once. Which means that even though it's invisible, I might still be wearing a fancy top hat. Yeah. Coins are worth 50% more. Yeah, it's some of these are a little bit unclear. Can I break these pillars now? Is there a point to this? No, they don't appear to break. I can hit them, but they don't break. I should eat. Well, there's some fish for you, friend. I did just open the chest. Yeah, that's why there's a lantern floating next to me and why I can see so far in the dark. Yeah, no, you're good. Just glad to have you. Oh, sorry, I didn't have any reason to assume you weren't here, so I didn't know I was meant to wait. It's the third chest that we've opened already, actually. Boots! Move speed increased by 25%. Gives a 10% chance to dodge attacks. The other two were my nerdy glasses and a top hat. So, alright, yeah. The boots are good. I want the gloves because I suspect that's what's gonna let me actually, like, freaking finally increase my tool swing speed. I'm definitely not convinced that's actually going to happen, but that's what I'm hoping for. Will do. I am exhausted. I am hungry. Sounds like me at the end of the day, to be honest. Luna says honk. Oh, well, honk at her for me, will you? Give her a good vigorous honking in return. A piece of poop. Where do I get bones from? I mean, I have to assume creatures. What did I just pick up? Amethyst. Ah, nice. Amethyst. And instead of being a fish... Well, lucky you with your full inventory. Wait, what? Oh. No, I'm keeping my glasses. Yeah, I can have a Cthulhu hat, but then I can't see my ugly fish person face. And more importantly, I can't wear my glasses, so... Can I eat something that I don't have a ton of? No. Because I have kind of a ton of everything. Alright, better kill a pigus. You get more items that, you know, that still also won't fit. I can buy meat, but I don't want any more meat. I want the leather. How long have I been leveled up? Yeah, so you do have to re-up those periodically, it looks like. Another upgrade for inventory space. Yeah, so you can get another backpack, which I don't think that I have the stuff. Oh, I do have the stuff for it. Yay! New backpack. Good call. Thank you for mentioning that. I would have completely forgotten. What do I still need? More sand. Yeah. Okay. Oh yes, I can also bake some bread. Wait, can I? No, coal. I need coal. Ugh. Make a little bit of coal. And then bake a bread. Now I have more inventory slots. Only 4, but that's still 4 more than I had before. So that's good. More breads. Eating the breads. That's really not that good. I mean, it's okay, I guess, but I'm picking up so many other food things that it's not... Oh, crap. Seems kind of wasteful. This is a weird noise for planting stuff. Boink, boink, boink. Plant 100 seeds. Now I can have a funny hat. Not sure if I want a funny hat, but now that possibility exists. Seaweed. Seaweed, slimes. Useless stuff that I have a lot of. I'm thinking I might actually sell off all of this slime that I've accumulated, because while it's not very valuable, there is just crap loads of it. Yeah, let's go back down to the vault and get that back in our inventory so that we can do that. Well, actually, is it in our inventory? No, it's not. So yeah, I do have to go down to the vault to do that. Doop, 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 doop. Wow, that was worth a lot of gold, actually. Okay. Alright, what do we want to do next? Banking, maybe. Banking? What's the point of banking? Furnaces and forges. I still don't know what power plants are for. Combat. Optics. Alchemy. Novice level scrolls. Oh, so that's just like automatic effects, I think. Masonry, braziers. What do braziers do? The torches matter. I barely build structures, so it's like 25% less materials doesn't matter. Fishing traps catch things 50% faster, but I don't really use them ever. I mean, cooked fish seems like it's useful, but I am not sure whether that's actually true or not. Unlocks mayo. Yeah, this cooking unlocks cookpots, sugar, mayo, and cheese. I don't think I can get cheese until I start milking cows, which I need bottles for, and bottles are really expensive, actually, so... I'm not sure how badly I want to do that, or, like, get into that. And mayo's probably going to be eggs and... Probably just eggs, honestly. I'm looking at prospecting, but I'm not really sure. Cooking food. So maybe that overlaps with like the cooking tree or the fishing skill. I'm actually kind of thinking either inscription tables or cauldrons. Because I don't really have a handle on what the magic tree in this does. So let's try out inscription tables, which is like the basic magic thing. Be a witch, make some potions. I mean, yeah, maybe. I've already got a flying lantern chasing me around, so... Oh, holy crap, that is a lot of wheat. And this is also kind of a crappy place for a farm, now that I'm thinking about it. Well, now I have, what, 48 wheat from one harvest. That's not bad at all. And I could increase that by 25% with that other skill if I really feel like I want to do that. So, I mean, that's not bad. Like, holy crap, that's not bad at all. Is there a faster way to get logs, get these trees chopped down? Because that's what I would really like to be able to do faster. Get 10 wheat. So I'll make another bottle. I should eat, says my character. Real life me begs to differ. Got some sand for more glass, for more bottles, for maybe milk? Question mark? Let's come over here a little bit and find out what's on this island, because we bought this and haven't done anything with it. Almost there. Come on. A decent amount of wood. I think I'll collect a little bit more and put some bridges down, actually. Just because there's some mobility problems right now. I am hungry. I am no longer hungry. So that's used up just an absolute crud ton of wood. But that's fine. It does break a little bit easier. Ah, cactus fruit. Okay, so there are other biomes that produce other materials. Good to know, and that is a lot of rocks. You know what I'm gonna do is sell my rocks. Then go see the ferry after I break up the rest of the stuff down here. Oh, so these drop stone and ore. Nice. Okay. Okay, nothing happens if you bump them. That's good. I kind of thought maybe you got injured, but that doesn't happen, so that's good. Cactus fruit is something that you collect at the museum, so I'm going to mostly focus on doing that with it. So I got loads of food, so even if that's a food thing, I don't have to really worry about it. Got renewable everything else, so I don't think I really need to pay too much attention to that. Yeah, so these take 1 extra hit each, but they give you a significant amount of extra stuff. Do I break this? Is that what I'm supposed to do? I can't talk to it. I'm not sure what to do with this guy. This weirdo here. Oh, it looks like this is where we get hot peppers from, which we can also farm, I think. Yep, hot peppers. And this, I assume, is just better iron. Yeah, so that's just normal, better normal iron. That is beetle, which if we bottle a beetle, we can get a better shovel, I think. We need to bottle a bunch of beetles, but we're gonna try that. Bottled beetle. Bottle beetle. There is a Dr. Seuss story about this, I think. Alright, a topaz, neat. So mining out this island actually has done pretty well for me, as far as getting, whoa, okay. As far as getting my resources replenished, so that's good. Let's chomp down on some more fish and get another skill. Bottle a billion bitty beetles and pick a peck of pickled peppers. Yeah, that's about where we're at right now, I think. Do we want... Let's learn alchemy, just for fun. I literally have no idea what I'm doing, but that's fine. Okay. I am going to dig up just, like, a lot of this island, because this bones graphic right there kind of makes me suspicious that maybe there's something... Like, maybe this is where you get the fossil items or something. And you can really do this over quite a wide radius. Alright. Well, it's a good source for sand, anyway. Okay, so what is this? Ice cream, wisdom draught, and animal feed. I mean, that sounds cool. That sounds like a permanent buff to me. Sell those, replenish some of that money. Keep the bottled beetle. And I think I need the emerald for the basic amulet, so I'm going to hang on to that for right now. Hey, that dodge chance thing is working out pretty well. Now at this point, I'm kind of trying to remember what I needed for the hands, the gloves. So let's check and find out what we need for that. There's slimes everywhere. Just sell that straight away. Consumable. What did that do? Wise. Gain double experience. Fully heal health and energy when gaining a level. Holy crap. Is that... Oh no, it's a timed effect. Oh no. Oh crap. Oh no. Oh no, that's a really good effect and I was not prepared for it. Oh no. Killing those is reasonably quick. Using those is especially good. I get experience for... I was gonna just say milking a chicken? I don't know what the heck I'm thinking in my brain. Looks like each island has its own theme song, which is gonna get a little weird after a while, I'm sure. Oh no. These seem to give good experience rewards, I guess. The statue, I have not figured out what the statue does yet. I interacted with it, it didn't seem to have any effect. We need to build some bridges. It's all my wood gone. I need to like find some critters to fight or something because I don't have long before this effect expires. And combat seems to be one of the more experience granting things, I guess. I have all of the money you wanted. Where are you, lady? You can bottle fairies, but I'm actually saving the bottles for beetles because they are 1 more rare and 2 necessary for my new shovel. Which I want to get that with all haste. Hey. Cut that out. That doesn't give any experience, I don't think. Unless I just missed the thing. And it needs to go out? Okay. Yeah, do your thing, take your time. Metal boots. Steel, leather, and bone. Still haven't found any bones. Royal clothing and bones. I'm gonna make a small wallet because I don't know what that does, but it is a thing that I have the stuff for and don't have yet. So, you know, obviously. I wonder if you get any experience for using buildings. Kind of doesn't seem like you do. Wallet. Coins are worth 50% more. Oh, that is useful. Good. Medium wallet. Hot peppers. Topaz, emerald, hot peppers. That seems unintuitive. But alright. Okay, I need a ruby, and then I can make the amulet. And I've only got like 30 seconds left on this buff, so let's make the most of it. And do all of the little quick fast things that I could find. Alright. Level 20! Yay! Oh hey, and there's the ruby that I needed. Excellent. Alright, so that's the buff run out. But I can now make my first amulet. Let's make all of the thread that I can, because I'm going to use that eventually, I'm sure. I'm catching so much sand. Alright, amulets. 25% more resources. Oh, good. That's excellent. Slimy amulet. Topaz, amethyst, jelly. Well, I've got way more jelly than I know what to do with, so that's going to be pretty easy once I get those minerals. Let's make some glass, because I can do that. Alright, so what do we want to do now at this point? We want... check the market. We can get hot peppers, wheat, seaweed. So let's get loads of hot peppers. Just crap loads of them. Alright. We'll buy up some wheat as well. Cool. Alright. So we need to keep breaking through stones, since that is where we're going to get the fancy special-tastic minerals. Let's pick up a skill while we're at it. Faith unlocks shrines. Novice potions. So we can get potions. I'm kind of feeling prospecting. So that's going to help with what we're doing right now. Ballistics. Unlocks ballistas. Bows shoot triple arrows. Geology. All rocks drop coal. Ooh. That's going to be the next one. Pretty sure. Alright, so let's come over here. So here's a beetle. And here is another beetle. In a bottle. And there's a topaz. So that's already paying off. And a ruby. And another ruby. I feel like that chance was increased by more than 10% maybe. Alright, how many of those beetles do I need for the new shovel? I think I needed bones as well, and I haven't found those yet either. So, might still be a ways out on that, I'm not sure. I admit I kind of like picking this particular island clean. Just looks nice when it's emptied out. And this can kind of reach forever. want rare items. I want them. You get 50 items. Cool. Oh, I do like that costume. That's rather nice. Ah! A rare item! They do exist! Such things are real. I should eat, he says, digging up a turnip. Three, 4, 5, 6. Ding. Emerald. And another emerald. Dang. That skill was a good purchase, I think. Like, super useful, actually. I'm just gonna, like, dig up absolutely everything, looking for rare items. Because it seems kind of worth it, actually. Items restocked. Leather. Poop. I'll have your leather. Sure. Excuse me. And I want more bottles, so this works out well. Alright, let's see if we can get back to where I'm actually meant to be. See, this is the problem with murdering slimes, is that they don't have any bones. Alright, I need more coal. Alright. See about that slimy amulet. I need an amethyst first. Fine. Let's put that, and can I make these? Still no bones. Can I make that? No, still no leather. Or no hide. This needs 2 more bottle beetles. What can I do about bottles? I can make 1 more bottle, 2 more bottles now, maybe. Oh, I've got actually really quite a lot of... Let's go gather up more fish and fish-related objects. These are in the way, so I'm cutting them down. Alright. We need another bottle. Need more of that. Okay. So basically, we just really need to find something that drops bones, and then just absolutely destroy it. And where the crap did I get 63 hot peppers? Oh, right, I bought them. Never mind, I'm crazy. Everything's fine, I'm just a crazy person. All good. All's well. All's walled that ends walled. Oswald that ends walled. That was the joke, right? Yeah, yep. I'm a weird person, that's fine. Ow! Slime from the sky. That collected up. We really just need more kind of everything, actually. Mostly coal right now, I think, is what we're missing. Should really look at those magic buildings that I got ages ago. Magical buildings. Magical Trevor. Let's see, where do I want this weird thing? Just put that down there, I guess. Uh-oh. Medium wallet. Coins are worth 75% more. Ah, there's a slime. Okay, but where were you when I wanted to pay you money? Weird lady. Right. So those have all re-upped. Let's see. Yeah, let's make just a lot of that. So we need to track down an amethyst. Let's make a lot of gold. Big wallet needs amethyst and nightshade, which we haven't found yet. That needs royal clothing, which we can get from one of the skills. That needs steel and bones, which we can get. Other than the bones, we can get easily enough. Huh. It does seem like they put a lot of effort into keeping this core gameplay loop good and fun, which I appreciate. That's something they really didn't have to do. Wow, and that's actually put us clear over 1,000 gold, just with that one sale. And she's gone again. Okay, maybe it has to be at night. I'll come back at night. That's fine. Let's see. Where's... What am I trying to do here? There's this. Paper. Wood and flowers. Moldy book. Thread and paper. Okay. So we need more wood, basically. Which we need more wood anyway, so that's fine. Alright, getting through all of that. Seems like there's a fair amount to this game, honestly. Like, to the point that I'm having trouble keeping up with the core gameplay loop. We'll need one more of those for the what was it, the metal boots, yeah. So I'll have that making itself ready. Craft a bunch of paper. I don't know how much of it I actually need, but we'll have that. That needs bricks. We do need another vault, probably, which also needs bricks, so let's make some brick. And yeah, we're in a position of very much needing needing a bit more of the good old coal. I am exhausted. My energy is low. Cool story, buddy. Let's just keep that active. So I will pretty much always want to have that on. We can make use of the flowers now, finally. Hey, and there's one of the amethysts that I needed. So now I can make... I can't make the big wallet yet. What needed the amethyst? I think it was that slimy amulet. Topaz. Crap, I sold all the topaz. So I didn't think I needed it anymore. Crud. Alright. Make some more of that. Also need to make some more bridges, honestly. So it's just kind of hard to get around right now. I wonder if the slime is good for anything else, because it doesn't seem like it really is. I'm not sure. It's interesting, though. It's interesting that this is so cyclical while still constantly throwing new stuff at you. So, I need to go break some rocks. Wait, what is this? The book needs the, yeah, just the paper. So, what do I need for building a vault? The vault up there. And then chuck in, what don't I use? I use kind of everything. I don't use berries, I don't use those, I don't use those. Don't think that I use emeralds very much, but I'm not really sure. Okay. Moldy book. I really just need to find out how to get bones. So that's like really the only thing that I'm missing right now. Topaz, hey, okay, so now I can go make my slimy amulet. Heaven willing, if I don't forget on the way there again. Eat some fish. So the reason that I'm not using or doing anything with the berries is that I'm actually saving those specifically for the purpose of making more fish traps. Because once I kind of get a sense of where I want them, I will be... Okay, we've got a book now. XP gained increased by 15%. Oh, sweet. So that seems like a solid place to start. Need a little bit more paper. 3 more paper. Oops. And then this can make more stuff now, I guess. Sure, 20 more bricks, why not? Slimy amulet. 50% more resources. Yay! Oh, good. Yeah, stuff's starting to double now. Not entirely sure that's a good thing, given how much how much I'm already struggling with inventory management, but doesn't seem like it could possibly hurt. Slimy tome. 'Twas brillig in the slimy tome? Did Gyron gimble in the wave? I don't think that's how it goes, but, you know, I mean, I'm not Lewis Carroll. You have to really ask him, to be sure. Wow, that's a lot of fiber per drop now. So that's good. Close enough. Yep. Yeah, so that's dropping 6 per tree now, which is actually quite a bit. I wonder if these get faster without... Because really, I just want these to go faster. I don't need them there to be, like, more resources per thing. I just need, like, more thing. I don't need to get more out of each resource so much as I just want to have, like, break through each thing faster. Because right now, the big problem that I'm having is that I can't keep all of this crap under control long enough to actually, like, use the space that I have. Nice. More gems. Decent XP gain. And I am over time already, but I actually kind of just want to keep playing this. So, I mean, I guess if you guys are game to keep watching, I'm game to keep playing. And I don't want to play off stream because I think that's a little bit disingenuous. Many things, many things. I still don't know what this guy is for, but I'm grabbing many things. Got a story for us? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Exhaustion actually causes injury. Okay, now we know. Yeah, I mean, that sounds normal. 1,000 items in my inventory. I was just saying how much trouble I'm having with inventory management. Go figure. And there's my other 2 bugs. So I can get my shovel soon, I think. Bug. Bug. I got the bug. I got the buggers. It's all already wet. That absolutely seems like the kind of thing that she would think. XP gained increased by 30%. Necronomica. Oh, holy crap. Well, that was a jump. We got Moldy Tome, Slimy Tome, Necronomicon. Alright, well, we'll wait on that until we've got the other required ingredients, but that's still quite something. Let's max out. Oh. Well, that's my coal gone. Yeah, you know, raise the dead. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. It's fine. Sure. Alright, get me another skill. Play the game for 3 hours. Would you look at that? All rocks drop coal, don't mind if I frickety fracking do. Deposit unlocks quarries. Oh, I think we might be only 1 level away from having this get a lot easier. Maybe. Yep, it did indeed drop coal. That is excellent. Let's see, we needed what to build a cauldron? Just bricks, I think, and we have those now. So now we have a cauldron. Let's find out what that does. Bombs and healing potions. Bombs. Healing potions. Bottled torch bugs. Oh. I mean, I don't need a healing potion, really, do I? At least not right now. But I will try making a bomb. I'm curious what those do. I'm not sure why you make a bomb in a cauldron. That's a little weird, but sure. This was what we were looking at. Nomad shovels. Steel. We need 8 more steel. So we need 32 coal in total. Time to go a-diggin'. We can just find, yeah, regular coal deposit. This should be good. So that was 8 for just the 1 rock, which is not bad at all. Not up here, unfortunately. But I do still get coal from all of these things, so all over that. 26. 30. I am hungry. Where are my berries? Those all gone. Oh, well, it's still night. I should go and see the fairy. Pay her off. Still not really sure what she wanted from me, but we'll go and do that now. Oh, what? Crap. Extras. How I made Forager. Okay, I don't want to do that right now. It's just ideas. Ah! What? Forager comic. We're not going to worry about that right now. Oh good, it's just opened up my browser and lagged my computer to crap. Okay. The real treasure in this adventure, the friends we make along the way, and all the lag that... crap. Hold on. I've made a mistake. Why? If it wasn't obvious, my browser is currently trying to resume my previous session, and there is a reason that I do not do this during the stream. Unless I am stupid enough to click on a link. In which case this seems to be inevitable. And she's gone and I don't know what her text was. Crap. Well, well, that sucked. Alright. Did either of you guys happen to catch what the text said? It's okay if not. Bomb. Alright. Let's find out what the bomb does. Yeah, I saw that part, but then she said something else, and I have no idea what it was. Alright. So let's try setting this bomb down and find out what it does. Yeah, I didn't either. It was obscured by... Okay, let's get out of the radius. Ah, that's what bombs do. I like bombs. Bombs are excellent. How many of these can I make? Let's have like 10 of them for now. Nomad's shovel. Oh yeah, I needed the steel, that's what it was. 8 steel. Yes, I have bombs now. Or access to them, at least. That is a very quick way of getting a lot of experience. And also cleaning up an area that is ugly and horrible and full of crap. So, I'm pretty happy about that. Bong! No, I did not say bong. I most assuredly did not say that. Let's see, where do I want to set off another one of these things? Up here seems... Ah, no, over here, because there's lots of stuff. Let's put this down... here? Yeah. That was really quite cool. I liked that. Wait, did that give me cooked meat? Nice. Oh, and that heals you. Oh, neat. I like these. I like bombs quite a lot. That takes a lot of the pain out of this game. And they're not that expensive either, so that's... like, I can just kind of keep doing that, which is real nice. Yeah, no, I'm pleased with myself for having figured out how to make those. Hey, buddy. You know what I got for you? How's this for resource exploitation? I wonder what happens when he's caught in the blast. Absolutely nothing. Cool. Blow up the druid. I mean, I just did my best. He's still there, though. Oh, I love these. I love these. They're so much less annoying than, like, actually digging up all this crap. Pew! A little XP thing at the top. Oh man, I love that. Oh man, that's awesome. That's put my coal up to 174. Why am I doing that? I've got a bomb left. I can just do this. Okay, I hope it doesn't break my rafts. The rafts aren't broken! So I can set it off in areas like this without any worries. Oh, I love that. That's great. It's excellent. That is so much less painful than before. Can I get this? No. Can I get this? No. Can I get any of these things? No. I can get some thread. Bone amulet. Ooh. Steel, bones. Well, let's go for the Nomad's Shovel, because I can afford that right now. Let's see what the shop's got for us. Oh wow, I missed a bunch of stuff back here. Plastic? Oh, I'm out of money. Let's see, anything else I want to sell? Yeah, those as well. It's given me quite a bit of money. That's cool. I'm happy with how that went. Particularly the explosives. What am I running out of? Iron ingots. Which I am currently making more of, so everything's fine. That is hecking cool. You can just blow stuff up like that now. Alright, so I am... Okay, what does this shovel do? Dig area increased, and it always yields sand. Oh, neato burrito. That is quite useful. So combining bombs and this new shovel should allow for gathering a lot of resources very, very quickly, and then getting them sold, purchasing new land, and rinse and repeat, I guess. Royal shovel, royal steel, plastic topaz. Okay, don't want to worry about that just yet. Make some more bottles so that we can get that. I don't even remember what it was, but something wanted torch bugs, bottled torch bugs. Can I get out of here, please? I want to place this in the best possible spot, but I'm not sure where that is. Let's come around the back. Oh yeah, up here's nice. For this. Explosions! Gazillions of items in the giant explosions. Wow! That is amazing. And it easily pays for itself as well. Pew! Alright, we'll put the last one down here, which will clean that area up for us. And now we're going to try out our new shovel. Get about 1 billion sand. I am hungry. Yeah, you just dug up like 40 pieces of sand. in a couple of seconds. Maybe plastic is what you need the power plant for. Like maybe there's like a chemistry tech tree or something. I guess we'll see. Wow, gold ore, stone, coal, and topaz all in one rock. Level up. Skills. Okay. What are we doing next? So we've got faith, which is shrines. We've got potions, scrolls, deposit. Oh yes, this is what I wanted. Boink. Okay. Looting. Slain enemies drop coins. Oh, that's useful. Calcivorous. You can eat minerals and gems? What? What the crap? What is this game? Alright, so we need, we wanted to build up one of these new things, these quarry bits. Which is farming bit. Whoa, whoa, okay. Rubies, topazes, amethysts. We need for quarries. Alright. Got my work cut out for me, I guess. Fortunately, those are coming in at an acceptable rate now that I've got that geology perk. Still haven't managed to get any bones. Like, literally any at all. I'm kind of thinking maybe I have to get the combat upgrade first, and then creatures that make bones will spawn? I don't know. It's very weird. I don't really get what that's all about. Got more topaz, which is good. I wonder if quarries just like passively produce gems or something. That would make sense to me. That would make sense in my brain. I feel like I should, like, treat the world as being bigger than I am treating it, because, like, I can, at any time, just, like, make more world happen. But I'm kind of being an idiot and not. Even though I've got, like, way more money than I need for it. Oh no, I actually wanted to keep that plant there. Oh well. 27 glass. Okay, so bottles are a thing I can do more reasonably now. And I may actually want to get another one of these furnaces. Let's see, bone amulet, bottle. Yeah, I can make like a lot of bottles. Bone pickaxe. I still have not found a single bone. Let's see. I wanna come down to the shop and see if they're selling bones by chance. Miner scroll. I might maybe can afford that. Bottled oil? Pizza. Let's not. I was about. I want all of those things, particularly the mining scroll, because that's for the. That's a museum item. What am I trying to make right now? More bombs, obviously, but what else? Cooked meat, produced when exploding things. I do like that. That's those are on one of the undiscovered lands. Yeah, you know what? Let's give it a try. Let's go ahead and build the world. like Mel says. So that one's 800. That one's only 350. Oh, hello. That one's 960. That one's 810. That one's 900. So I can get 2 more. I'm thinking this one because I'm down there a lot, and this one because I want more of that terrain type. Okay, there's weird stuff out there. Let's go find out what weird stuff is out there now. Bridges. All right. What is this mysterious place? Ancient galaxy. There's physics. There's physics happening, and I don't understand them. What am I trying to do here? What are these for? I don't... So that powers 4 of them at a time, I guess. Let's just try the top row and see what we get from that. See if that does anything for us. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking something similar, but I'm not sure what shapes to do. Yeah, this is weird. This is like really weird. Yeah, I have no idea what to do with that at this point. Oh. Oh. Hello, chicken. Welcome. Okay, so how would I make that shape? I need 1, 2... 1, 2, 3... Yeah, you can't make that shape with the tools that it gives you. At least not just with those. Well, no, I don't need a screenshot to get that. I just... Like, I remember the pattern, but I'm not sure how to make that pattern with the tools that it gives you. Okay, so that'll be plenty of bridge for this. Well, okay. I said that, but then... Old man says... Well, what's that, It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. My bird friend told me about the existence of golden eggs. In all my years, I have never seen one. I would sure like to, though. If only someone was young and awesome enough to find one for me. Alright. I get it. I see where this is going. I want nothing to do with it, but fine. Still don't know what that thing does. It's just weird and staring at me still. There's Wow, this is already just instantly overgrown again, even after I bombed it straight to the bad place. Wow. Alright, we did get one more of these islands. I can figure out where I freaking put it. Ah, here we go. What is this? You are amazing, and we love you. Thank you, terrifying turnip person. You are my favoritist person in the history of ever. We should be friends, like seriously a lot. You're weird. I feel like I'm obliged to like you, but you're weird. You're a sleepy turnip person. When I grow younger, I want to be a you. It's weird. I don't understand it. It's fine, I think it's endearing, but I'm also very confused. Oh. Because of the amulet that I'm wearing, chickens now produce 2 eggs every time that I interact with them. That is also weird. You are a sleepy also? Well, I should probably rest soon as well. Yes, but not a turnip. Ah! What am I trying to get right now other than just bones? Okay, let's just make loads of keys. And we'll go on an exploding things rampage. Alright. What shall we blow up? So much iron. To get shot into space. We're doing okay on our minerals. We're still trying to get enough of that to, Yeah, I did blow up a chicken, that's true. And this is not a very efficient use of a bomb, but I'm tired of those trees being in my base. Bad. Yeah, that was less of an accident and more of it was in my way. Oh no. Crap. Yes. XP, 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 XP. Wow. Good hit on those slimes, I guess. That's what I get? Yeah, experience points and also sometimes explosions. Go away, slime. I'm trying to talk to the weird lady. The real treasure in the adventure are the friends we make along the way. Cool. I think I paid 1,000 gold to hear you say that. I don't feel like that investment was particularly great. I get the bomb for blowing up the chicken. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, let's come over here and bomb this place a bit. Oh my. close call just then. Only a bit, though. So efficient. I love it. Let's see, there's more rocks up here, which are good targets for exploding. On account of they take a long time to break, but they are not in a convenient orientation. Let's see, that's probably the most of them that I can get all in one go. Wow! And none of them are new items, so I can hold pretty much an unlimited number of them, which is neat. No, the chicken. What about the chicken? That I blew it up, or which chicken? Didn't see a chicken up there. I blew up another one. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean it. It is. It's a chicken sanctuary that occasionally has large explosions. Oh my gosh. The restream chat gave you an amazing emoji just then. Not by land. I need to build quarry. One more ruby and I can build a quarry. Okay. That'll be our goal, and then I think I'll be done. They'll learn to leave the AoE, yeah. Oh, that's a weird thing. It made a weird noise. Then I killed it. Unless the chickens are also dragons. Honestly, the guy was talking about, like, weird lizard egg. And I was thinking, like, maybe he wants a chicken. But then the egg was a funny color, and it didn't turn out that way. So, guess I gotta keep looking until I find one that's spotted. Just find a Yoshi egg, right? Come on, just one more. Come on. Wrong gem. Ah! Okay, this is a good use for the last bomb, because these things take forever. It gave me a gift of the poop. Amethyst. Ah! I just need one more ruby, come on. Cut me a break. Let's see, did I queue up any more bombs? No, I didn't. No rubies for the chicken killer. Yeah, my curse is to just play this forever. And never see another ruby again. I've already got 4. I just need 1. Alright, let's find another place to put this last bomb down. Not a 1. Not a single ruby. Ah, ruby! Okay, let's build us a quarry. It's sort of large. I don't know where I want to put it. I'll put it down with the weird turnip people, because that will give me an excuse to visit. I have received a perk. Combat unlocks swords. Hunting gives me cooked meat, bows and arrows. Ballistics gives me ballistas. Where do we get... I'm gonna try combat. Good night. I will see you shortly. Frost Strike. Holy crap. Okay, so I'm gonna try combat. I'm not sure where I buy swords from. Probably at the anvil would be my guess. It's currently busy doing something else, so I can't check just yet. Let's go check the quarry and see what this actually does. Ooh, what is this now? Crystals. What is this? What are these new things? Why are they just here now? There go, pull more chickens up. Yeah, you know, let's. Wow, the bombs don't actually destroy all of these. Some of these are not blown up. Yeah, the weird turnip people seem to have health bars. But they don't seem to mind things unless you actually kill them. Which I don't plan to do. So I might need them alive for something later. It's weird that like all these rocks are now just here. This doesn't do anything by itself. I think it just spawns weird rocks nearby. That seems to be all that it does. Which is a little bit unfortunate because this is not a great area to be setting off bombs all the time. I might want to move it later. We'll leave it where it is for now. My gosh, these take a long time to break. I guess I'll see how often it spawns things. Just sort of organically. Alright. Bone sword. Ah, crap! Of course. Of course. Why would it not do that? That would be silly. Alright, hold on. Let's see if we can... Let's buy that one, because that one seems attainable. And this one is also attainable. Who are you, buddy? The chicken is testing the waters. Alright, who are you, weirdo? My name is Hopfrog, and I made this video game. I am curious to know how well you know Forager by now. Let's play a trivia minigame. If you get at least one answer correct, I will give you super rare rewards. Let's do this. What is Princess blah 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 real name? No? That's wrong. Okay. Let's try again. What is 2 times 8 equal to? Excuse me? Oh no, you almost had it. Okay, next question. How many enemies have you defeated so far? That's definitely wrong. Don't worry, you'll get the next one. What's the purpose of life? To play Forager. No. Was that even a real answer? Next question. How do video games get made? Nerds in the basement with coffee and magic. I didn't know that either. But that's okay. Next question. How are you going to rate Forager? Positive review. That's obviously wrong. I feel like this is rigged. Mint. None. Wow, so wrong. You didn't even get a single question right. You're the second worst trivia player I've ever seen. Don't worry, I will give you a consolation reward. Thanks for playing Forager. I hope you are having fun. Fail miserably at a trivia minigame. I need a key. Well, that was a bit surreal. Get rid of that so that I can get a key. I can't get a key until that's finished. Crap. Well, maybe I want another one of those anyway. Maybe I wanted to build another forge anyway. Come on. Where do I want the aforementioned forgery? That'll be out there, I guess. It's a stupid place for it, but it's a stupid thing to need to buy. So, I don't think I'll use it too much, probably. Let's see. What do I need for the Necronomicon again? Bones and royal clothing. Yeah, I don't have the ability to do that for a while. Doop, 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 doop. Alright, got my key. Let's go to the chest. Shield gives a 35% chance to dodge attacks. Okay, but like seriously, how do I get... How do I get bones? I want them, but I do not know how to get them. I like how it just spits items out on the ground constantly. That's cute. I don't know whether I mean that or not. It's kind of actually cute, but kind of not. I don't know. It's just weird. Let's see, I did want to come in here and get rid of some of these cactus fruits. Ruby, amethyst. Don't have any emeralds on me. I do have some crystals, not many. I don't know what they're used for, so we'll keep them for now. Alright, we'll leave that for now. Egg. That. Got loads of that. Turnips. Foraging. Don't have any of those on me right now. I do have some oranges, but not on me. Plastic. No, I don't want to give that up. Bricks. I can do bricks anytime I can do bricks. I want to keep my leather though, because I don't really have a good source of that yet. Don't have any of that. Don't have any of that. Don't have any of that. I thought I had something else that I was saving something for. Dunno. I think what we'll do is go for a total of an extra hour and end at 11. That would run me out of iron, which I don't want to do. I'm kinda salty about that. What the heck am I supposed to do without... Alright, look. Let's come back down here. Check this again. Bricks, iron ore we'll take. Sure, let's just buy them out for no real reason at all. Okay. Make a bit of bread. A few breads. Do half of that here, and the rest there, and that will get us going a little bit faster. Doody 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 doody. Weird noises. Craft 30 more glass, loads of bottles, that way I will stop being afraid to use them. Like I currently am. Some kind of a derp. A couple more of those. Can I afford any more islands? Not currently. Okay, I'm gonna need quite a bit more gold. So I will say this game's core gameplay loop does not suck, which is impressive and kind of a surprise given the nature of the game. Let me go around and collect some eggs. Let's see, got the eggs. Don't know what to do with that yet, this building. If it's... yeah. My auto mod flagged that. Sorry. Took me a second to work out what was going on there. Yeah, it did. That is not your fault. It just misunderstood the meaning of what you said. Blow up the old guy. Pew. Wait, do I have the cactus fruit with... Oh, that's why I didn't select it. Actually, I was going to put the cactus fruit in the museum, but it didn't let me because apparently it's not actually on my body, it's in one of the vaults. So I think I need to go back and deal with that. First, however, I'm going to go and check on that quarry. Yeah, okay, so this produces kind of a lot of this stuff. Alright. How do we want to do this? We want to put this there. Oh. Ouch, be careful. Thank you for telling me to be careful as I died. Dodge a lethal attack. Yes, I definitely did that on purpose. Sorry, friend. Sorry, weird creature, whatever you are. Let's have 2 of those, get me back up to full health. And we'll bomb here. And here. Because I was an idiot and put a quarry next to you, why do you ask? Oh, stuff can catch on fire. Did not know that. Everything's fine, all's forgiven. Eggs. There's quite a bit to this game, actually. Like, just a lot of longevity, despite the simple gameplay loop. I'm pleased by. I like that about it. What else do we need? We need We need to keep the gold production going. I feel like we should be able to afford another island. Yeah, we can afford a couple more. Well, one of a selection of a couple. Oh, what the crap is all that? Oh, that's where you get Nightshade from. Okay. Okay. We can go north, we can go east, or we can go west. I'm kind of feeling this one. That is unnecessarily creepy. Oh, I guess that's underneath the quarry, technically. Chicken. What the frick? This is taking a very long time to break, but it is giving me bones, so that's cool. I want to break this and find out what happens. Oh! Oh my. I don't think I was supposed to do this just yet. Oh, right. Can I run away from this dude? Is that a thing I can do? Oh no. Okay, he's stuck. What did I get? Great skull, bones, wood, skull chest, spirit orb. Use it to increase your stats. Bloop. Permanent damage increase, permanent energy increase, permanent heart increase, instantly level up. Oh, wow. I mean, permanent energy increase for sure. Wow. Okay. Pumpkins. That's how you get pumpkins. Those take 6. They still drop citrus just like everything else. Can I break these? Is it good to break these? Is this going to, like, be seriously bad for me if I break these? Oh, yep, zombies. Skeletons, whatever. Okay. Alright, let's build some bridges. That's a reasonable ability to get between these places. That's the nightshades that we need for whatever that other item was. Alright. Oh, we're out of gold ore. That's not ideal. Okay. Bone amulet, we need some steel. Make the sword first. Make the gloves. We'll make... Can't do that, but we will make the pickaxe. Freaking finally, we've got those gloves. Took long freaking enough. This will have it make... Got plenty of that. We need like, what, 50 of these for the thing up in the museum, so we'll just make those now. Oh. Attack speed. Is that like tool usage speed or like actually attack specifically in combat? Okay, 50 of those. Got the sword. Deals 50% more damage to enemies. Oh, I have to have it equipped though. Okay, that gives me the golden sword, which is steel and topaz. Metal gloves are steel leather nightshade, steel leather bone. That needed royal clothing, but this only needs nightshade as well. Nice. Yeah. Alright, so now I can actually, like, fight with a fighty thing. Pick some bottles. Alright, now what's this? Damage increased by 150%, gain 50% more bone when killing skeletons. Just dead. Yeah, I'm alright with that. What do I need for the backpack? Royal clothing, so I can't get that until I get royal clothing. We can go for the boots pretty much straight away, though. Well, I say straight away, but those are going to take a bit. A couple minutes to finish. I'm kind of not happy that we're only 3 buildings into the cool tree. That's okay, though. Just come up here and bomb that real quick. Well, that didn't do at all what I hoped or thought that it would. Oh, good. Okay, so gloves are definitely the priority. Whenever we can get gloves, we should be getting gloves. Oh, that's way better. Alright. I should not stand up there while I'm trying to place things up there. Alright, what did I need more of? The just one more effect to continue. Yeah, no, that's true. It's true. I need more gold to make that. I don't have any more ingots, so I think that's actually going to pretty much cut me off from being able to proceed for the moment. Dragon filtre. What even? Great skull. Material. So probably craft something out of it. Okay, well, I think that is actually a pretty good place to leave it. So I will be done for the night. Have a lovely evening, everyone. And I'll be back tomorrow.